Hello and welcome back to another video. Today we'll be talking about lightning effects on these cool Grey Knight Paladin models I did for an order. Customer wanted just basic scheme, but I wanted to kind of push these blades with some cool effects. The little OSL, mostly just the lightning effect and the arcing of the lightning coming off the blade. It's a relatively simple technique. There's a little line work in there that can get a little tricky, but we'll try to go through it and explain it out. And we're using our basic jewelry wire here, 0.03 gauge, to create the effect. But let's jump in and try to get this done. The way I start off my Grey Knights is I mix a blue ink with Vallejo silver, which technically this is Duraluminum. It's a great color, and I mix the two together pretty much 1-to-1, maybe a little more silver, to get the blue tint of the armor. It's like a blue tint silver, really, what the base color is. Next, I'm just going to progress through the normal painting of this model, box art style, using bronze to base coat my gold, Maphsiton Red to base coat all the red parts, chassis of the gun, and then I'm going to use the white dark ivory to cover the pages and any of the book emblems that I need to do. Following this step, I'm just going to cover in any other metallics that aren't silver. I'm just going to use Vallejo gunmetal gray, and then I'm also going to use Citadel Screaming Skull to hit any of the copper parts I'm using. Not a ton, but some of the tips of the weapons I'll be using it for. Now with the base coat pretty much completed, we're going to move on to oiling these and washing them down. I'm just going to use a dark blue, very thin down dark blue wash to really accent and somewhat tint the armor paneling here to bring out that blue hue of the Grey Knight silver a little more, but it also folds into the recesses pretty nicely. Next, we're going to use a pretty thin brown wash to go over the white parts, the dark ivory parts, just the cloth and the books, that kind of stuff, just to fill in the rest. After moving through highlight steps, pretty simple here, just hitting accents and doing a little dry brushing. We're going to move on to the blades. So first what I do is I mix a dark blue and a black together to get a very dark black, and I coat all the blades in this color. It's almost black, it's very dark blue. Next I'm going to use some thin down bold titanium white paint and a very small brush to lightly touch the model and try to sketch out this lightning pattern on the blade. It takes some practice. Definitely try it on your finger once or twice, but once you want to draw it down, so you want to start with your brush at the top and draw down. It's a lot easier to do it that way. We're just sketching out the looks of this lightning at the end of the day. After I finish with the brush work, I'm going to go to the airbrush here with white ink to cover over all of my lightning to give it an OSL effect. I start from the bottom of the blade, being the source of the lightning coming out of the blade, and that's where I put the most hot white, and then I work my way up the blade. After that, I'll cover it all in contrast. Frostheart, great color. It'll just give it all the blue effect it needs before we move on to more colors. After this effect, I use thin down sky blue to redraw in the lightning. You just have to color in the lines here. You don't have to be too precise, but you're just reinforcing that lightning effect because you'll lose some of it in the airbrush step. And then I'm going to use some white paint just to color in the nodes. That's where the lightning's interacting with each other on the blade to give it that pop. It really adds to the effect of the lightning, making it look real coming off the blade. Next, I'm going to move on to the lighting effect. I'm going to use my clippers here to bend the 0.03 jewelry wire that I use. And I'm going to dip it in super glue and just attach it for points of the blade, arc it off to points of the model where it makes sense. Next, on that jewelry wire, I'm just going to cover it in white paint to give it a good basing. After the white paint, I'm going to cover it all in frost hard again to give it that solid blue coat. Then I'm going to use a mix of deep sky blue and sky blue to make a gradient going up the arcs. The tips of the arcs will be white, moving down to deep sky blue. So that's kind of the goal we're going for here. So a lot of the arc is covered in deep sky blue, and then we slowly wet blend in sky blue. Last part of the model, this process, is I'm using white ink to shoot right at the connection points where the lightning hits the model or the base or another blade, and that's going to be bright white light as lightning is arcing into a surface and creating light. Since we are working on Paladins here, I do have the banners to paint, so I basically paint everything in a Korne Red and slowly build it up through Maphsiton Red and Evil Sun Scarlet using sponge work to create texture. That and a little bit of dry brushing. Once I have the back of the banner, I move to the front, and I'm going to move from a yellow to an orange to scarlet, with my airbrush moving from the bottom to the top, creating that sunset look in the background. You want to start with the backgrounds on banners first, get all that lighting done, whatever gradient you need to do, and then we come in later and fill in all the details. We can be a little messy here because the edges will be covered in scarlet again, so it's not a big deal. Then I'm going to work through all the colors here. It's basically the colors that are on the model itself. So we're going to use that silver again. We can use the dark ivory. We're going to, use froster for the sword. And we're just really going through all the colors we've been using this whole time to paint in on the banner. And once we're done painting everything on the banner, we're going to close in all of the colors with scarlet again. The banner takes, the banner can sometimes take a while and it is a little finicky, but once you figure out kind of how to paint within those raised lines using like the side of your brush a lot, the side of the tip, it's really not that bad. But you can get a very good looking Grey Knight ordered together pretty quickly using some pretty cool effects. I did this whole big order in really like not a lot of time, like maybe 2 sittings worth of painting. The banners probably took the longest out of everything. The lightning was really not that bad once you get into the flow of it. It's a pretty simple OSL / effect to put on a unit like this to really make them jump off the table. It is a little finicky, but once that glue sets and it dries, it's hard. You got to really break it. You got to push into it. So it's a really cool effect. I hope you liked the video. If you do, please like, share, subscribe, all those great things. Just trying to build up, subscribers here so I can get my information out to more people. Just trying to grow the channel a little bit. So anything helps. But I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks.